Melissa, tell me a little bit about Sprout Out Community Market.
Sure. So we are a community market that focuses on affordable fresh foods and locally sourced foods. And so our focus actually is on ugly produce and some expired goods.
Yeah, what inspired this?
Honestly, it was a lot of little seeds that kind of happened for myself and my business partner, Ada. Mm-hmm. We both lived in food deserts, or what would be considered a low food access neighborhood. So we were experiencing what actually a lot of Portlanders experience. So having to walk a really long distance to get produce that was affordable or any fresh foods that were affordable, having to overspend on things that were produced locally, not having any access in our own neighborhoods to those.
Right.
And then on the other end of it, we both work with food in the restaurant industry and see how much goes to waste and what you can do with all that waste. So all that kind of came together. We were like, we really want to make things affordable. Local doesn't have to be boutique,
Right.
Organic doesn't have to be boutique.
Yep.
We are that, we're our own customer in a way. We're middle income, we're working class.
Totally.
So we just really enjoy food and wanted to bring that experience and I guess the Portland food experience to the whole of Portland instead of just these pocketed neighborhoods that get to benefit from being in central Portland.
So when you say you're in a food desert, where are you located?
We're located right now in Lents. When the idea kind of arose, I was in the Cully neighborhood and the Woodlawn neighborhood. So those have traditionally been kind of on the outskirts and have lack of resources. For just what would make a walkable, sustainable community or a livable community. Lents is growing. It's still affordable for a lot of people, but it has a lot of gaps in the services and a lot of need. So it's kind of like on the border they have a bunch of stuff, and then there's just a big emptiness. And there's a few little stores here and there that kind of fill it all in, but they definitely have a big need.
Yeah, so you're helping to fill a gap.
Yes, exactly.
It's literally what a social entrepreneur is.
Yes.
That's really cool. So was there like tell me.
I was just going to say, I guess our focus is also not to be this like panacea for everything. We just want to come in and help at least one community and be able to copycat it in small ways and not be like this giant grocery industry,
right?
But more of just a community space and a way for people to interact with food and discuss it and learn about it and not have this kind of like barrier between what you know and what you don't and what you're willing to go for or not.
Right.
So,
was there like an aha moment?
I'm not sure there was really. I think it just kind of like morphed from one idea to the next. We were really talking about really wanting to do something to make food affordable and how we would do that. And so we kind of looked at what other people were doing.
Right.
And a lot of people were kind of going one avenue. So like either make it really like cheap and affordable or, make it really organic and nice. Right. And we kind of want to do it all.
Yeah, ugly produce. It's so funny. I've never heard that.
Yeah, and it's really not ugly. Grocery stores just have a standard for sizing, so it makes it easy for people and for them to package things, to put it on the shelf. So if an orange is too small or too big, it doesn't get to go into the store, and that's not fair for anyone, really, including the orange.
So there's some like interesting grocery store policies that you're...
Oh, very much. And they're supported by the USDA policies. There's actually guidelines for what's called number ones, number twos, and the list keeps going. So they have whole lists based on like color of produce, what size it should be, how do you store it, and how long are you keeping it. So grocery stores actually waste so much food.
Right.
Tons of it, every day. And before it starts actually rotting, they're pulling it off the shelf when it still has a lot of life left. So there's actually so many layers to it that we're trying to really holistically fix instead of just going down one street.
So this has been done before?
In a way, yes.
Yeah. What's different about yours? Or?
I think we're trying to bring more than just produce into the mix.
Got it.
And bring more than just, say, expired packaged goods, like a factory store would or something. And then bringing in the community aspect of it as well, and bringing in budgeting assistance and actually talking to people and breaking down those barriers and saying, okay, so you just moved here, you don't speak the language, or you're unfamiliar with this product. Like, let's talk about it. Let's show you how to use it. Let's maybe have a dinner later this week and invite the neighbors. Just I think
That's great, budgeting assistance.
our model is more nonprofit model in what we want to do, but it's for profit. So
Right.
people kind of are like, wait, what?
Yeah. No one wants to deal with the board.
Right. So, I think the community aspect of it for me is what makes it different than just a business model.
Awesome. And so what do you need right now? Like what resource or expertise from your community could really help you right now?
Right now, we really need some capital and a location. I think we have really good experience in handling produce and food and all of that. Neither of us were in the grocery industry to begin with, but just in food service and on the production and growing side of things. So our need really is help getting to the next level, making that next jump. We're in a pop-up and we need to make that next step, and we're kind of like...
So you're currently in a pop-up?
Yeah. It's just making the next jump that we need assistance
You want
with.
a brick and mortar?
Yes.
Cool.
Very much so. And not necessarily traditional brick and mortar.
Right.
I mean, we're really flexible on trying to think outside the box on, again, keeping things affordable and sustainable and local. It's been really... We've been able to make a lot of connections, I think, in the community already, and a lot of people have kind of come to us after hearing about our mission and working with other people. So we're actually, I think, going to be starting to work with some refugee farmers that they're in their own incubator program. So it's kind of nice to be able to work in conjunction with everyone.
That's so cool.
And grow
so
together.
you'll be using their produce in your market. Awesome.
Yeah.
So how long have you and Ada been business partners?
About a year and a half now,
Okay.
since this all kind of started. We've been coworkers for 5 years,
Okay.
so we know each other well.
That's great. And just a broad question, why should we care?
Well, everyone's got to eat, so there's that.
Totally.
But I think there's so much that people forget about the food system and just our own communities and how we interact within our community and within food in that. You should care about what goes into your body, where it comes from, who grew it, and how they're making out too. You shouldn't spend $4 on apples if the farm's only getting, 25 cents. So you should care about the whole system.
Right. Why are grocery stores throwing out food when people are
People are
starving
hungry.
and malnutrition?
And some grocery stores, they donate it, but even that only gets it so far. You're still missing a whole group of people that can purchase food. They have income to spend, but they just, they're trying to get the most out of that.
Yeah. The food's not geographically in their location.
That too, yeah. So there's a lot of it. For different people, there's different reasons. And so I guess we're trying to kind of hit...
Right. There's a bunch of different reasons to care.
cover the whole situation instead of just saying, hey, we're going to be the cheapest. We're not going to be the cheapest, but we'll have some really affordable stuff right next to some really awesome organic stuff that came from a farm down the street that isn't ugly, because we don't want to exclude the pretty stuff either.
Right.
So, yeah.
Well, thank you so much, Melissa.
Thank you.